Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me. I can't believe I forgot that. So, next floor. Yeah, the latest in internet censorship. YouTube has implemented, without notice, a new feature called restricted mode. Basically, restricted mode is the fucking censorship mode that YouTube force feeds you if its AI determines that you are underage. It literally doesn't even matter if you have an actual credit card or payment details or whatever on file with YouTube and you are above the age of 18. You're of age and it's like indisputable. If the AI algorithm, for whatever reason, determines, yeah, you're behaving the way that like somebody under 18 would behave, you get restricted mode and you cannot turn that shit off. But if it doesn't flag you, then you can turn off restricted mode. Or I guess maybe for now it's a thing that you can turn off. In the future, they might make it permanent for everybody, which I would fucking hate. But YouTube would love because they're all, like, stick-in-the-mud conservatives who hate you, hate life, and hate sexual liberation. I kind of got ahead of myself with describing how much I fucking hate these people for doing this. But, yeah, this like restricted mode makes a large amount of content on the platform completely invisible, as if it was like not just unlisted but private. You can't access those videos, and one basis along which they do this is in fact sexuality. Not even to the degree that I mentioned. The mere mention of LGBT people, the queer community, in any capacity is enough to get a video or otherwise content flagged by this algorithm, such that if you have a restricted mode enabled, it's invisible. You can't see it. If you mention anything political, such as economics, taxes, like even something that basic, or you know, God forbid, the administration, President Trump, etc., that is enough to flag your... Actually, mentioning Trump might not be enough, because these people all fucking love Trump. But if you mention, you know, income inequality or some sort of adult topic, you know, that could be labeled as politics, that gets picked up by the algorithm. If you mention the politics of race, being black in America, if you discuss the concept of blackness at all, black culture, you mention any of that shit, your ass is getting flagged by the algorithm and you can't see that content anymore. And this has made a lot of YouTube creators' views drop off a cliff. It is just, it's so profoundly bad for everybody. It's not really good for business either. This isn't really like a sensible decision from a perspective of, you know, marketing to whatever kind of demographic. It's good for marketing to the old crusty, you know, billionaire investor demographic of capital P party members who hate you, hate society, hate life, etc. You get the idea. Who want to abolish the orgasm, subsume everything, every pleasure of life into the control of the nanny state. This is effectively, this is a digital nanny state being constructed in the private sector. And we should all fucking hate it. And it's another one of those things where it's like, clearly, this isn't being done, like, this is being done with full knowledge that everybody hates it. Nobody wants it, nobody asked for it. Everybody hates it. So the solution to it is to, well, be really loud and really annoying about it and never shut up about it. To never let them hear the end of it. I'm basically certain that, like, this would apply to me as well. In fact, one of my thoughts on this was, like, this basically cements the likelihood that I can't make a career out of YouTube, particularly YouTube. Who knows whether I'll be able to continue with Twitch. I don't intend to stop streaming or stop making videos because I do that primarily for me. You know, like, it could get 0 views and I'd be okay with it if I'm seeing, like, my ability to make a video edited and stuff like that improve. You know, I'm doing it for the love of the game for the most part. You know, and I think I have something of value to say. So even if like if I get one view and there's some indication that somebody's like, maybe I found that kind of interesting, I'm pretty happy with that, right? There's certainly a self-interested angle, but like, you know, there are a lot of people who already sort of chose YouTube as a career path, having tasted the success of it already, having a pretty well-defined workflow. This is going to, over time, destroy the YouTube ecosystem and economy. And it's kind of like a big step in the shitification of YouTube. And it's kind of this that prompted me to like, this as well as other things that prompts me to sort of want to scale back my usage of the internet. Because if the internet is just going to be a fucking nanny state where they tell me, no, you're not allowed to see things that are interesting. You're not allowed to see anything like informative if it involves politics or queer culture or, you know, politics like around ethnic minorities, whatever the fuck. If you're not allowed to show any of that, then like shit, what's the point of being on the internet? Which I'm sure is the entire reason they're doing it. Sort of destroying the ubiquitous means of telecommunication and community online one brick at a time, right? And nobody's buying the excuse that this is to protect the kids or whatever. These people, like the people who are responsible for shit like this, are friends with people who have flown to Little St. James and fucked children, right? They don't give two shits about the fate of kids in this country, in this world, or whatever, right? And YouTube Kids already exists. You know, it's basically, this is an optimization for thoughtless slop content. They're trying to turn YouTube into a like perpetual engagement farm of slop, to like meaningless, thoughtless slop that's inoffensive to the worst, most conservative kinds of people, so that they can churn out positive engagement numbers on paper to make it like look good for the stock market and to keep the speculation cycle going. Like that's the purpose of this. Targeted ads, speculation, and like you know, subsuming things into capital even further for the people who have like such a stick up their ass that they probably think internally that the party from 1984 had some good ideas or some shit like that. I don't know. But this is subject to a problem that I experience with a lot of other things that I provide analysis on, which is that there's not a whole lot we can do about it. You know? Seems like a common theme with a lot of the things that both companies and nation states get up to, is that there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of room to, like, say, I don't fucking like this, stop it. Heard something the other day where the internet only started to require you to start revealing your identity once tech bros took over. Yeah, and I think that is a generally correct framing of how things have gone. The internet has become increasingly censorious and increasingly oriented towards data farming and giving up your personal details and freedoms ever since tech bros, or rather capital, has become more and more of a prevalent force controlling the internet. They all just want to deal in your identity as a commodity, which requires the minimal amount of introspection possible, the maximal amount of thoughtless swiping and engagement possible to make number go up, so that looks good, to the other place where number go up, none of it means anything, everything gets worse, their pockets get padded, and our lives get destroyed. You know? Like I said, second act type shit. I'm trying to think if there's a way I want to end that segment about, like, restricted mode and the increasingly censorious nature of the internet. I guess just that, like, I mean, just what I said. It's all to eliminate anything that doesn't just purely maximize thoughtless scrolling engagements. I mean, it kind of fits with them trying to integrate YouTube Shorts more and more into the platform, despite people like vocally not really wanting it, because like there are platforms dedicated to that short form content, but the short form content is so easy and profitable for YouTube and for the, you know, its parent company and whatever, that they'll just force it where people don't want it. You know, regardless, they'll just inshitify their recommendation to get you clicking on random shit. You know, they'll restrict videos that they deem to be unsafe or too uncomfortable that people might dwell on for longer periods of time, to get you scrolling more engagement numbers, number go up, speculative value, shareholder value, whatever the fuck, right? And in so doing, they are literally erasing queer and black people from digital spaces online. The internet used to be like a safe haven for queer communities in like the 2000s, the 90s and 2000s, where queer people who were in otherwise very oppressive and abusive environments could find each other and take solace that somebody else was out there that cared about them, even just in the abstract, and they could get together and chat about like shared life experiences. But now, with an increasingly centralized and censorious internet, this could literally be considered the beginnings of a digital genocide, the erasure completely of queer people and black people and minorities as a concept from the internet. That might be sensationalizing it a little bit, but I feel like if you asked, if you look at the timeline for genocide and what genocides usually entail, I feel like this is a unique set of circumstances that you might be able to call digital genocide, right? One of the objectives of that is to erase a group of people from public life, sort of erase them from the public knowledge, erase them from society as we know it, right? Even if this isn't necessarily the end goal to erase queer people, I'm sure for somebody it's the end goal out there who fucking hates queer people, right? It's still a component part of this project of subsuming YouTube into capital, subsuming the entire internet into capital, where everything is just a mindless doom scrolling machine, where you are the product, you are part of a engagement farm that just makes number go up and generates some sort of speculative value. It's a game to them. Ruining YouTube is a game to the people who have the power to just unilaterally institute changes like this. It's a game to see how high they can make number go. You know? It was like, we're over here having a good time playing poker with each other, and the guys at YouTube are all trying to say, no, let me play Balatro, and they're bringing a lighter and setting the fucking deck of cards on fire, and like, you know, scribbling all over them, and we're sitting there like, dude, what the fuck? I feel like that's kind of a good way to make light of the situation while still kind of describing what's happening. There's a fundamentally different game being played from their side, a very antisocial game, where they just want to make number go up, and they will ruin the experience that all of us are having to do it. Thanks for watching, and support the channel if you would be so kind.